think here we go. Yep. Howdy, folks. Welcome to another day in the Milky Way. This evening, I've got a returning guest, but didn't really get to say much in the first show. Miss Keelee Ray Ann. How you doing tonight, Keelee?
Hey. Hi, everyone.
So, we had you on that Friday night show, and, well, it was mass chaos. So I'm glad I named it that. Yeah, they are fun. I'm going to start doing them every Friday at least, and probably Sunday, too. But anyway,
I'm down whenever.
All right, we'll definitely have you back, that's for sure. But tonight, it's about you. So I want to know, last night we kind of got off topic, and we're kicking right off the bat tonight. So what gets you going, and what kind of got you into this whole movement, and how long?
So like I said on that Friday Mass Chaos show, I started my awakening, which I realize now is about 2004 when my daughter was born. I'm an indigo child and she's a rainbow child. So it's like her birth woke me up. And the nurse in my dreams gave me her name. So I kind of knew something was weird there. And then once she was born, my whole life changed. My relationship changed. My work life changed. It changed me inside. I started being miserable. I was really unhappy just with where I was. And I know now it was like my soul pulling at me, telling me it's not what I'm supposed to be doing. But I dragged on so long with my awakening. I mean, now I didn't really start shedding and everything until probably about 2015. So I dragged on all that time. And I think the universe was sick of waiting for me. So they were just like, cut it. They took all my stuff, ended my marriage. And then I just went on the spiritual path. I ended up losing my job one day. I read it in my cards that it was coming during my review. And I was already doing mediumship on the side. That's how I really started out this thing. And then it just, once I lost that job, I just went all in. I went all in and started realizing what my purpose was. And my purpose here is to help people go through their ascension, giving them tools to cope and healing their inner child to help them. As you heal your inner child, it's kind of like peeling layers of an onion, and then your soul self emerges. So it kind of wipes away all that human garbage. And then also I teach mediumship. That's another reason. So I have Archangel Metatron on my left at all times, and I have Archangel Michael on my right at all times. And Archangel Metatron helps me with my inner child healing and all that kind of work, and then all the social work. And then Archangel Michael, I channel him to write my mediumship courses. So I work very closely with him too. And I can already feel him. He's here because every time he gets here, he's on my right, I start to feel the heat.
Well, I guess you keep pretty good company then. It sounds like.
Yeah. I'm pretty safe around here. I have backup.
Okay, well, back up a second. You brought up that you are an indigo and your daughter is a rainbow. Can you kind of explain that for us?
Okay, so there are different ways of indigos that came here, kind of in ways of ascension to wake up others or help others go through their awakenings, kind of like the leaders, and there are different characteristics of indigo children. You can look them up online. I have this weird intuitive knowing where I can kind of tell if someone's an indigo or not right off the bat, or, just kind of in conversation. Sometimes that little light bulb goes off, but different traits, and a lot of them are kind of hard to tell if you are or not. You kind of just know intuitively if you look at a list. So a lot of them are rebellion. Indigo children live really rough lives because, like I said, we're helping others go through their ascension. So all the things that we go through are the people that we assist are like 2 steps behind us, 1 to 2 steps behind us. So we're able to help them move through because we've already been through it. So that's our job as indigos, kind of to help awaken the masses. And then the rainbow children are crystal children, and rainbow children like the next waves of kids. And there are certain dates you can look them up. I think indigos are 60s, 70s. I think almost to the 80s, and then it goes crystals. But there are also some indigos. Like my son's born in 94 or 95, and he's an indigo child. And then my other son, he was born in 97. He's an indigo. My daughter was born in 2004, like I said, and she's a rainbow child. So rainbow children, they don't go to sleep. Like they say, you start getting conditioned, ages 2 to 7, and just through parenting, peers, schools, anything else, any kind of children's programs you watch, they start conditioning them ages 2 to 7. Well, rainbow children don't go to sleep. They stay awake. So my daughter's 14, and we manifest together. We do vision boards. she understands me at a spiritual level, and she just gets me. She's my teammate. And I've been guided to know that she came here for that purpose. She chose me as her mom because she knew I would awaken during this lifetime, and we would help others through the ascension. Like, she's really strategic. Like, we'll manifest, and she'll go to school and have all these kids imagining fishing at her new lake house. And it's like, she has all these kids manifesting in numbers. She's really smart about it. But yeah, she's awesome. She's my little teammate. Now, yeah, it's really cool.
Okay, so she goes to public school then.
She did. She actually, it's funny how she's feeling all these shifts that we're feeling. So she goes to online school now. We pulled her out this year. She's like we are, right? We all want freedom. We want to do the work-life balance. And, we want to live our lives and be able to do our spiritual journey or whatever we're here to do. And the interesting thing about her, you two would probably get along because she's all about being on YouTube and making videos herself. So she just told me, it's funny because this is a joke, but just yesterday she told me at 16 she's getting emancipated and she's going to move to LA to be a video blogger. She's 14. Wow. She's already got an LA jar. Yeah. And then I told her that I would have to take her to the taxidermy and stuff her and keep her in a room for the rest of her life. But
well, the reason I ask is I just wonder if a majority of like the rainbow children, indigo children, gifted children like that, I just wonder how they would react in a public, school system. I would see more of them being homeschooled.
Yeah, she has a really hard time. She noticed the kids were judgmental. She didn't like the confrontations. She's just like one of those. It's funny because a lot of girls her age are all about drama and boys and dressing certain ways. She's just not like that. She's very humble. She's spiritual. She's a little smarty pants, but I mean, she's not like your normal 14-year-old. She's very emotionally intelligent.
That's cool. Well,
she won't have inner child issues.
Well, God, that must be refreshing.
Right, or limiting beliefs. Like, she has no limiting beliefs. I always say, I always have these glass ceilings, right? Because we all grew up with limiting beliefs. Well, I always say, she'll crush through glass ceilings like the Kool-Aid Man. She's like, she has no limiting beliefs. When I say she'll pick a house out that's $1 million, they're like, Ashley, we can't afford that. And she'll say, yeah, we can. Why can't we? We can make it happen. We'll manifest it. It's like, there's no limiting beliefs there. It's really cool.
It's
cool to live with someone like that.
I'm sure. That's what I was going to say. It seems like this new generation, it's like they're born with something that, I don't know. It's right now, I don't know if it's because of the activations that's going on and they're just going through it at an early age. But, a lot of them were just like, they're computer savvy and all that. You look at these little kids, they know how to operate computers before they know how to do anything else.
Oh, yeah. My grandson, he loves the iPad. I mean, he's on it all the time. We'll change his shows and stuff. He's like 18 months right now.
Wow. So it's mind-blowing. That's cool, though, that, that they're getting that influence. But not only that they're spreading it along, to their friends. That's a beautiful thing. And that's, sort of how this community grew. It's like, just like with my mother kind of getting into this thing, she'd never heard of it like I hadn't. And, and she saw the changes it made in my life. And, I guess that's what, proof in the pudding, right?
Yeah, it's kind of contagious. Well, kind of like she's going, like I said, she's going through all these shifts too. So she doesn't really watch TV anymore. She'll watch video bloggers on YouTube, but she doesn't really watch TV anymore. And I'm not complaining about that.
I wouldn't either. No, I definitely would not. Huh. Well,
yep.
So anyway, after you had your spiritual awakening and everything, what made you realize your psychic medium gift?
Well, I could always see spirit. I remember my first visual of spirit was probably when I was about 4 years old. I saw my grandmother. That's the first one I really remember clearly, vividly. But they've always tried to communicate with me. And I said in the last show, I thought every house I moved to was haunted, but I was the one haunted. So I wasn't understanding that I was a medium. I knew I could communicate, but I thought I was weird. I just thought they messed with me because I was weak. I didn't realize they were actually messing with me because I was strong.
Well, they were trying to get your attention, it seems like.
Yeah, they were trying to get my attention. I mean, I've had dark entities try to steal my light. I've had, I've woken up in the middle of the night and had fist-sized bruises and have entities grab my legs. And I mean, I sent you that picture of the handprint I had in my stomach. There are so many things that have happened to me throughout life. They've always messed with me, and the dark ones. And I knew well, now I know that it was because they were trying to steal my light,
So do you
They're trying to
think
drain me.
it's also because you have more of these gifts too, and that's what made you susceptible?
Yeah. And I can tell you that, I mean, I laugh about it all the time. Like, so I surprise myself with my gifts, but I've been to others who say, do you even know how strong you are? And I still, it's weird when you grow up and then you go to work in corporate America, and then all of a sudden you're doing these medium reads for people and you have all these like, superpowers.
Right.
It's hard. It's still hard to accept, it's still hard to get past that self-doubt that you've had your entire life, which is where the inner child healing comes in.
Well, I mean, it seems like that's part of the process. I mean, you got a lot of us in this community has kind of hit rock bottom, and you kind of have to really, I guess, appreciate this ascension process. Because
Yeah.
I mean, I hit the lowest of lows, but I mean, it's made me soar even higher.
Yep, that's true. Every time I go into a really dark place, I mean, I could be depressed in bed till 4:00 p.m. in the afternoon, and then I will just get this motivation one day. I'll wake up and snap up, and I'm stronger than ever, and I'll jump on and make some videos. I remember my first medium read, first one I ever did, my first paid medium read. I have balls. I have my entire life. Hopefully, I can say that on the show. But I just got my energy high. This is why I teach mediums coming up, is I do get them into peak state so they can give clear messages, raise their vibration and get into an exact peak state. I had a whole ritual I did, and I did it. And once I got the balls to do it, I just jumped on and did an hour session. And I had all these clear messages. When I got off, I was like, holy crap, this is real,
I said, there's no way I could jump on here solo and talk for an hour. I'd be like,
Yeah.
I
had a client come to me. And I thought, you know what, now or never, I'm just going to jump into the fire. But that's how I've been my entire life. I guess it all led up to this.
Hey, that's the best way to learn, though. Just throw yourself all in. I mean, it's all or nothing.
Yeah, that's right.
If you ain't going all the way, there's no sense in going at all.
That's right. That's the truth. Yeah. But so I started this mediumship. I started growing and doing this inner child healing. And as I was going on with all these different sessions, it started building and building. It's like they're building me up, adding all these things in. It's like they didn't give me it all at once because they knew I wouldn't be able to handle it. So they gave me parts and pieces of this healing work. And at first it was medium reads, and that's how I got the courage to do that part. And then they started adding all this healing work in. So now my sessions are a combination of healing. I do some other shamanic kind of type healing. I do medical intuitive scans where I can tell where you're manifesting illness and how to heal it. And I can help you heal it through energy healing. And then, most of my stuff is the inner child work, but it all kind of ties in together because inner child issues cause repressed emotions, which cause pain and anguish and depression and anxiety, Yeah.
So, I just wonder.
Sorry, I'm rambling.
No. It's just, but it brings up questions in my head. So when you're doing these scans, like you were talking about, you can do that remotely. You don't have to the person doesn't have to be present. Really.
Yeah. Like right now, I'm feeling in your solar plexus. You're really tight in your solar plexus. Like you have some issues going on there. I feel like yours is a lot of anxiety or, we said we do a session, so I'm not going to throw any personal business out here, but it all ties to inner child stuff,
Oh, like I told you, I know I've got something down there that I haven't figured it out yet. So
we'll get it out. I'm already feeling it. So they show me by showing me the pains in the chakras where people are manifesting illness, and then they take me back. They show me scenes. And a lot of my mediumship works that way too. Like, I got messages from my brother-in-law who passed away, and I gave my sister an hour of messages, and it was memories that they had together. I'm covered in chills right now. It was memories that they had together, and it was through his eyes, which is super cool. I could tell her what she was wearing that night, like all these cool things about their date nights. It was super cool. She hadn't talked to him in a long time,
Can you trace most of these illnesses and sicknesses back to certain chakras?
Yeah. First, they show me the chakra. They show me where it is in the chakra first, or sometimes they'll show me pains. They'll have me feel the pain, and then I'll be able to tell someone. Then they show me where it is in the chakras. They'll show me which chakras. Like usually it's 2 or 3. Right now, yours mostly is in your solar plexus, a little bit in your throat as well. But they'll show me, and it just comes, like I'm just telling you, it just comes out. I don't even know what I'm saying, and it'll start blurting out. I record a lot of my sessions because when I'm channeling, I don't remember some of it because I do a lot of like, it's close to trance channeling. Sometimes I feel like I don't remember anything. I'm in a daze. So they'll show me that. Then the healing work is done like separately, go into meditation for that. But then when they show me that, the pains and stuff, they start showing me either memories from your childhood, or they'll show me a family member or an event and point to that. And then I'll start asking questions, and then we'll work through those issues too as well. And I think they do that. Like, I think they do that. Sorry. I think they do that. So you're involved as well. Like the client's involved as well. So it's a healing on a different level. You're healing spiritually, but you're also healing mentally and like consciously. You know what I mean?
Well,
I guess it kind of detaches your feelings to that memory, I guess.
Well, that's just like the placebo effect, or, 50% of the drugs that you take is just because you believe they work in your mind. See, it's really kind of reprogramming the mind is more important, if you ask me. So, but anyway,
and that's how it works. Is like it pulls it out of the subconscious. So sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, I was just going to say I had a question from the chat. Brian Lunsford was wanting to know, when you said you took in those pains, do they stick with you, or do you just let them go?
The pains?
Yeah, like when you're doing those pings.
They're like pings. They're real quick.
Oh, I thought you said pain.
They're pains. They're just like a ping, though. It's like it shows me real quick where you're hurting, and just for long enough for me to tell you, and then I don't feel it anymore. Once I tell you that message is given, I don't feel them. Well,
the reason I was asking is because, like I was, I've said in earlier shows where I can feel people's emotions. I guess being an empath, I feel people's emotions, and I had to figure all that out. Well, we talked about it Friday night. So I didn't know if you took it on like that, because they stuck with me.
In some sessions are more draining than others. Like when I do those, the Facebook Live, when I was doing those a lot, those completely drain me. I'll be down for 3 days. And I really think that's why I'll have a lot of body pains and stuff then. I think it kind of take it on a little more. Maybe it's just draining my body. But if I get a bunch of people on sometimes and I'm actually reading and channeling for them, then I'll feel it a little bit longer just because it's draining me. But usually if I'm in a session with like I do a lot of one-on-one sessions too, just to get people through inner child stuff. All the inner child work is one-on-one, but it'll just show me just pains, quick pains. And then once I give the message, they're gone for me.
Well, it's like I couldn't imagine some of those bigger channels like Leap Project. That's a lot of energy coming at Rex. Like, no wonder he's so freaking jacked up.
Yeah.
All that energy coming at him.
Well, I know, like when I do the live reads, I don't kind of pick one person out. I try to give everyone a message, and I always say, if I don't have anything yet for you, come back in 5 minutes. And I don't use tarot cards. I just go one down the line, one by the comments, one after another, and just go through them and read for everyone I can, just to give them messages. I do that to practice my gift, but I also do it because I want to get the most impact to people. You know what I mean? I'm here. It's with the way I make a living, but on those live reads, I want everyone to get a chance to get their little read in.
Well, I mean, that's just like with anything, like, Deborah Tucker had sent me these sacred traveler cards, and the more I use them, the better they work. And it's just like with any of those gifts, the more you use it, the more you keep it in tune. So
Yeah, I'm always trying to hone my gift or kind of work it or try to get better at it. I'm always trying to, I don't know. I'm just like that. That's how I am naturally, I guess.
Well, and spread the love too. That's what it's all about, that's like this I am love thing, that we're trying to keep going. Just putting out that frequency, every little bit helps. It really does.
Yeah, it really does. Just like when you end your shows with that I am love, or you see someone in a comment, it kind of brightens your day a little bit,
And people, I apologize. My internet is wiped out tonight, so I'm sorry for the lag in my video. It's super bad tonight. So just listen. Just don't look at me. I'll turn it off. No.
You're like, no, slow motion.
So how would one of these psychic medium sessions work? How would it go? How would that work? Like, would you ask questions, or does it just come to you?
Honestly, this is one thing that was given to me recently when I had a healing session with, is it okay if I plug someone else real quick?
Yeah.
Oh, her name is Carolyn, I think it's Seitzer, but it's purplerainhealing.com, and she's super cool. She has super cool healing sessions, and everyone can benefit from them, and they're at a low price. She's worth so much more, but she does it to help people, and she gives you this huge type report. And I was already feeling it. It's funny because when I get those done, it's always when I need a message, like when I feel blocked. And I got my report back, and it was like everything that I was already automatic rating, where it said that I have all gifts. I can do anything. That's the way my powers work. That's the way. I'm a really old soul. That's what I came here to do, is to help people through their ascension. I can pretty much give anyone anything they need. So when they come to me, I won't know ahead of time. I never know. I don't know when, like, some people tell me a little bit about their issues. The session never ends up to be that. It's a huge mixed bag every time. It's whatever that person needs the most is what my guides will give me, and their guides will give me to change.
That sounds like one of my shows. You never know what you're going to get.
Right. I never know. I always ask, like, the first thing I ask in a session is, what are you looking to get out of the session? Because I always want to see if what they're wanting is what's going to match up, because sometimes people are disappointed. I just want to let them know ahead of time, this is what Spirit's saying you're needing. Are you okay with it? You know, I just want to make sure they're getting what they want out of it. And at the end, I always say, did you get what you needed? And they always get more than they needed. I always want every person to leave. I don't want someone to come in and just kind of do a read for them. I want their life changed when they leave from me, you know? I change lives every session. I love it.
See, like I said, that's such a beautiful thing. And not only are you helping them, but I mean, you're reaping those benefits too, because that's just nothing but great energy coming back your way.
It is. I leave a session so hyped. It's so exciting for me. And just to be able to heal, it just feels good. You don't get that. I used to do software development. That was my career before I got into this. So you don't get that for building software, you know? You don't get that feeling.
Well,
it's addictive.
Like I was telling you, I never would have thought that I would be doing YouTube, because like I said, I'm not saying I wasn't an extrovert, because I was definitely an extrovert, but you know, it's like I said, just carrying on conversation. And I hate cameras. Like, that's why there's not many pictures of me. I hate taking pictures and all that. I hate being on the camera. But like you were saying, but after these shows, like, I'm pumped up. I don't know if it's because of the energy coming in.
All the energy flowing, yeah.
Oh my God, it takes me like 2 hours to even come down. So, you know, I couldn't imagine actually doing an energy transfer.
Yeah. It's really cool. And then, you know, I like to help people. I like to change them. I like them to leave better than they were. And some sessions, the inner child healing sessions, I get stuff out of it too. There are times where they've brought me messages through sessions. So I would be healing someone's inner child. I'd be like, holy crap, that happened to me too. You know, it kind of heals me at the same time. I can't even explain it. It's just really cool.
So, like, with the psychic part, can you like talk to like past family members and things like that? Is that possible?
Yeah, so that's the medium side. So mediumship is more like, so mediums are, and I'm what's known as a true medium. A medium is, we bridge the gap between realms. So I have guides from every realm. I have an army of guides from every realm, and some of them are actually learning from me. So they're watching me in this lifetime and learning. So so as mediums, we bridge the gap between the realms. So we're like the middleman between everyone, middleman between spirit. I mean, I've had alien beings come to me after those live reads because I was so open, you know. And so I wouldn't communicate. Exist. Yes, I've seen them.
Okay.
I had a live read. I went in my room one night after a live read, and I have video on my YouTube channel where it's probably really obnoxious because I was still vibing really high, but I could see him in my third eye in the corner of my room. And I was putting on binaural beats to meditate. And I said, leave me alone. I'm not working right now, because I consulted with my guides first. I always asked Archangel Michael because he's there for protection. And I said, I'm not working with you right now. I'm done working. Please leave. And I said this all like, you know, telepathically. And he's still staring, no mouth, but I heard, I'll wait. And it was like that. And I was like, please don't come back. Yeah. And I haven't heard from him since. I've seen him a couple times, my third eye, but he hasn't really tried to contact me yet. I don't know if they're putting a barrier up between him and I, but I had never seen aliens before then. And I did. So it's pretty cool.
So is there a way? Oh, go ahead. Please.
I was going to explain the psychic side. So the medium side is the bridge between the gaps realms. Like, you can talk to past loved ones, people's guides communicate with me, you know, their ancestors, their past loved ones, that way. And then the psychic part is that's the part where I just know things come to me as an unknowing. I can tell people, I've told people they're buying houses and selling their house and having babies at certain times. I'm pretty good at it, down to like sometimes the day, sometimes the month, but that's the psychic side. So I have all the clairs. They're all open.
So do you have to tune into these things, or can you just be going through your day driving somewhere and then boom, something hits you?
That happens to me all the time. I've gone to the post office and going to ship a package, and the kid is a younger kid behind the desk, and I said, hey, and he said, yeah. I said, there's a woman here for you, and I was describing her, and he said, oh, and then I said, she said this, and I can't remember what I said to him because I was channeling, but I gave him a message. It comes to me out of nowhere, and he said, that's my auntie. And I said, you need to get back to school. And he said, I'm going to register today. He was going back to college. And I said, you need to go for IT. He said, that's what I was deciding against. So I gave him guidance on his life, this young kid. And then I said, okay, have a good day. And he just stared at me as I left. That happens to me all the time. But, you know, every time I do it, it's when they need it the most. It's pretty cool, though.
That is cool.
My kids get annoyed. My kids don't really like it.
Well, at least they kind of know what's going on. They don't think you're crazy because, you know.
It's like, they think I'm crazy for sure. They do. They know what's going on, but they tell me I'm crazy all the time. My daughter says, if anyone heard your conversations, you'd be locked up. Listen to me tonight. I'm talking about aliens and, you know.
But, you know, it's becoming more like commonplace, though, really. Like I was saying, you know, I live in Tennessee, and you were saying you lived in the sticks, South Carolina. I mean, it's the same way. But I'll go to the grocery store and places, and I'm hearing people talk about chakras and, you know, and meditate. Yeah. In Tennessee,
a lot more now.
Yeah, it's amazing. Like this new spiritual, like it has to be these energies coming in or something, because it is a wave it's a tidal wave. It's not like one of those trickle in, take thousands of years. It was like, boom, in your face. Here we are. You know?
Yep. But, it's changing so fast. I love it. It's amazing how much people are changing.
No, it is. So has this, like you said, this has kind of been throughout your whole life, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
thought it was weird, you know?
Well, I mean, don't we all though? But I mean, but you kind of had, you know, the somewhat special gifts, but it really, really kicked in after the trauma part in your life, right?
Yeah. And from what they've shown me is like I was dormant. Does that make sense? Like I was kind of like waiting dormantly. It wasn't time for me to heal at such large numbers. So, I mean, I've been shown my future, and it's healing people in auditoriums, like auditoriums of people. Once, you know, all these waves go through and people start going through ascensions. That's what I'm seeing so far as of now. I mean, paths change, but I would have never been a person to even get on camera and talk at all. I've never been a public speaker. I couldn't speak. I would stutter. What I do before every time I get on is I ask my guides and angels to help me, and every time it goes pretty smoothly. I haven't had any really embarrassing things happen yet, but I can't imagine myself working in an auditorium, but that's what they're showing me, and I trust them completely, my spirit team, and I know that when it's time, I'll move forward. I have complete trust. I have all trust in them. When I go in those lives, I say, I trust you, I surrender, let's go, we'll do it. And then I have 2 carrier angels that I can actually feel them push my back of my shoulders when I get online for one of those lives. Pretty cool.
Like, go on.
Yep, let's go. I'm like crowd surfing every time.
That's fun.
But so I wanted to see if I could give some like characteristics of Archangel Michael, since he deals with inner child healing, if that'd be okay.
Oh, please. Yeah, please. And also then I want to get into some ways that we can protect ourselves.
Well, let's do that first, then we'll get into that. Go ahead.
Okay.
What do you protect yourself as in?
Well, you know, with like negative entities coming in, or, you know, when somebody's kind of throwing energy at your way, you know, not so good energy, is there, you know, ways to protect?
I always call on Archangel Michael, always, because he's there for protection. So I always say, and then I do this all the time, where I've had a couple incidents like this that have really helped me, and it used to shock me at first. So I had a client who had a drug addiction, and she was having suicide attempts, and I didn't know she had a drug addiction at first. Well, she was putting me in the middle of her suicide attempts and like telling me she's going to kill herself, give me her location, and give me her husband's number. And that's way past my contract. You know, that's way outside of my boundaries. It made me really uncomfortable. And she needed someone stronger than me. I mean, she needed some medication or whatever she needed. She needed someone to help her get off the drugs. I tried to give her to some rehab places, and she wouldn't listen. Well, at that point I was like, I got to wash my hands of this. I can't do this anymore. I was getting really strong messages of boundaries from my guides. So I called and said, I call upon you, Archangel Michael, please cut cords with anyone who no longer serves my highest good. And she disappeared. She was gone. Her email, she wasn't answering email. Her Facebook was gone. I couldn't find her name. Her husband wasn't answering his phone. she disappeared. I have no idea where she went. It's like, I've had a couple instances like that. It's pretty cool. So always call upon Archangel Michael. He's always there to help.
That's crazy. Like, I hope it all turned out well for her, like, that's a scary thing. But what I was going to say
I haven't been able to even contact her. I assume that she's in good hands.
Well, let's hope for the best. That's for sure. What I was going to say is, it seems like that a lot, maybe she was going through a lot of these, ascensions. And because like I was saying, if people didn't know what was going on, thank God we do, with all these energies coming in. That's why there's so much anger and stuff in the world. I don't think people are processing these energies coming in like that. And,
That's
a
true.
lot of them
She had a lot of abuse. Yeah, she was molested since a child. I mean, she and her siblings were passed around and sold to friends of the family at a time. They were like pretty much prostituted out, and no one ever took them, and no one ever reported it. So her parents got away with it. Well, she was really messed up, and that's how she turned to drugs. And she was really getting really good. I mean, we were healing so many blocks. She had so much work, though. I mean, you could only do so much in an hour, and if someone's not there because they're high, can't really. There's only so much I can do for them, even at a spiritual level.
Patrick was asking, do you have to be Catholic to call upon Archangel Michael? And CG said no.
No.
But, elaborate on that a little bit, though. It's
you don't
not
even really have to be religious.
That's what I was. Okay, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah, you don't even have to be tied to a religion, or because a religion's kind of more of like in the church, your relationship with archangels, or whoever your beliefs are in your heart. So you don't really have to be any religion to call upon Archangel Michael. I was never Catholic. I grew up actually Southern Baptist-ish.
Oh, yeah, that was kind of sort of
yeah.
I mean, so what?
But it's weird because I kind of moved away from my faith. I moved away from my faith for a while because I did go to church for a while, and I moved away from it, and then started doing this mediumship. And then I didn't know I could talk to angels at first. It's kind of like they led me out to bring me back in, and they will show me things. I had never really read the Bible. I mean, when I was a kid, I used to go to Sunday school and stuff, but I never really read the Bible. They'll point me to verses. They've shown me like, well, actually, I could lead into this. Whenever you're done, I could talk about how I actually knew I was working with Archangel Michael. It's pretty interesting. Kind of leads into that whole subject.
Go ahead.
Okay, so I was going to meditation. I have a bunch of weird stories. I would go to meditation and story my life, right? So I was going to meditation, and I just felt like I needed to put essential oils in the diffuser. So I did frankincense, myrrh, and cinnamon. And don't know why. I was just I just go with whatever I feel right. So I put it in there, and I go to meditation, and I met one of my shamanic guides. I have 2 shamanic guides and 1 Cherokee ancestor. And it was the older shamanic guide, and I could see him clearly in my head right now, and he talks to me often. Actually, I started light language recently, and it's like I'm speaking through him. It's really cool. But I was in meditation, and I met him. He met me at a fire, and he kept pointing at the sky, and he kept saying, Inkna, Inkna. And I grew up next to a kid, oddly enough, named Enoch. And I kept saying, are you saying Enoch? I couldn't understand him. He kept saying, Inkna, Inkna. He was saying yes. Well, then he said yes. He was saying Enoch. I started to understand him. It was like a translation started to happen. Well, he told me to look at the book of Enoch, chapter 33. And this was before I knew that I was working with Archangel Metatron. Now that I know that he's been with me my entire life, I just didn't know how to detect him or know he was there. It was like it wasn't time for him to come in my life yet, or for me to know. So I got out of that meditation. I just knew to look at the book of Enoch, chapter 33. Well, the book of Enoch was removed from the Bible by the Catholic Church, so it was hard to find. I ended up finding chapter 33, and it was Enoch was a prophet and a scribe, and he was Cain's son, and him and his, which I have in this list, he and his twin brother were the only mortal men to be turned into archangels. So in that chapter 33 is the story right as Enoch, they have me covered in chills right now, head to toe. Right now, that chapter 33 is where Enoch, that God turns him into archangel. So he's walking through this field with, I think it was Archangel Michael, which is funny enough because he's always with me, and he's talking about it, how he smelled frankincense, myrrh, and cinnamon. It was the craziest thing because that's what I put in my diffuser. So when I woke up, I had all these messages. I went and read chapter 33. It kind of explained that thing. And then in that meditation, he told me that Archangel Metatron is my soul father, like my spiritual father.
Really? Now, you were talking pre-show about the only two archangels that were mortal men.
Yeah, that would be Archangel Metatron, of course, who was Enoch, and then I didn't remember his brother's name, so it was Sandalphon or something, Sandalphon, and his mortal name was Elijah. He was a prophet. So those were the only two mortal men who were turned into archangels for their good behavior, because that was during the Cain and Abel times and everything that happened after that, and they were the only ones that were, I guess, they were rewarded for good behavior and became archangels.
See, and that's amazing how, like, all these things, like all these religions and spirituality and all that, it's, you know, they kind of all have the same message. It's all just about being spiritual, you know, until they get tainted, that is. But it's really,
you can't question that. How would I know? How would I know there's a book of Enoch? It's not even in the Bible. How would I know there's a chapter 33? How would I know any of that? How would I know Enoch is Metatron? And how would I know he's Cain's son? How would I know any of that? There's no denying some of this stuff.
Yeah, you can't make this shit up.
I sound crazy sometimes, but I just go with it because I don't even, I'm not surprised by anything anymore.
Well, I've talked about that before. That's where it's kind of easy to go wrong sometimes, because it's easy to second guess yourself, when these things are coming in. That's like, we were talking earlier about how some things you just kind of dismiss, and then, later on it turns out it becomes something important. So it's always good to kind of, listen to those inner voices. You're not crazy. It's just, either messages or downloads, something coming in. Don't mean we're crazy.
And it's easy to misconstrue, because sometimes in my medium reads, when I'm getting messages, they're symbols and I have to translate them. So they give me symbols that relate to something past in my life, where I can give this person a message by translating that symbol. I built a catalog of symbols. So it's easy to misconstrue. That's why I think about the Bible. When people take the Bible word for word, a lot of that is symbolic, and it's easy to be mistranslated.
Well, it's a collection of stories, Yeah. It's all the Bible is.
Yeah. Yeah, so I knew all that, and it was weird because just that week before, I had bought our Metatron crystal grid. I was getting the crystal grids, and I didn't know anything about Metatron. I was just really drawn to that symbol. I've always been drawn to those geometric shapes.
I was trying to see if there's any
Apparently, he's my daddy.
He's your daddy. I was going to say a joke, but I better not.
Yeah, I know. You don't have to.
Okay, right on. So, what
but I can give this list. I mean, if you want me to give this list.
Yeah.
Okay. So, for those of you who don't know about Archangel Metatron, like I said, he and his brother were the only archangels who were once mortal men. I wrote down a list so I wouldn't forget these things. And then as a mortal man, he lived his life as a prophet and a scribe, Enoch. He's an angelic ally to writers, which is funny because all my messages, when I first started this, all my channel messages were coming in through writing. And they keep telling me I'm going to write 3 books this lifetime. So apparently that's another reason he's with me. He is the divine record keeper responsible for recording everything that happens upon earth within the Akashic records. So he writes down everything good and bad in the Akashic records in the book, or the AKA the Book of Life. He turns chaos into order. He is the angelic ambassador to the children of ascension, otherwise known as indigo children, the crystal children, and rainbow children. Kids with ADHD, a lot of those kids are indigo or crystal or rainbow children. He supports all sensitive children. He's dedicated to helping children. He's a motivator. He's about prioritization, organization, focus, motivation, writing, and children. And he guards the tree of life. So it's interesting that I do all this inner child healing because Archangel Michael is all about saving and protecting children, So I really think that's why he's with me all the time. Is those inner children are sitting in there.
You were talking about the link with that and autism. And, I always wondered, because some of them are like super smart and things like that. And it seems like it was just like I was talking earlier, like not being able to process these emotions and these energies and things going through us. So, and
they're so sensitive.
That makes more sense to me, to be honest with you. I just, that was a revelation in a way. So.
Yeah. Makes sense.
So besides calling on like your archangels, is there any kind of like, exercises or things like that that we can do to protect ourselves?
I always put my bubble up before I go into shows. I'll just like, if I always think of what kind of a bubble, because it changes often, what I would feel like comfortable or safe in, and then I put it up around me. And at one time, I was a fortress. At one time, I had a lot of healing to do to, allow me to be vulnerable at one time. I was hiding behind all these defense mechanisms. And at that time, mine was like it's a steel wall. But I just put up my bubble. I do the Palo Santo. I put that all over my aura, just clean your chakras often, clear and balance.
Yeah, I love the Palo Santo. That's like before I do the show, I always do a clearing, and then I always put protection up because, like I was saying earlier, you get all those energies coming in at you. Even with the bubble up, you're still getting walked with it. But I love it.
Yeah. The bubble's not good enough for a Walmart even, I can't go on. The bubble's not even good enough for me. It's not even strong enough for Walmart for me.
Yeah, Walmart is definitely not going to be a place where you find ascension beings. That's for sure.
No. Or to get messages. No.
No, that's true. They probably got up some kind of Wi-Fi barrier around Walmart anyway that keeps anything from coming in. I think that's what they're trying to do with the chemtrails. So, this lag is driving me nuts. Sorry.
That's okay. I can still hear you. So,
tell us a little bit about some of the services that you kind of offer.
So, like I said, I don't really know what I'm doing going in. I will offer a lot of things on my website. I have a 3-month program that I usually point people to that kind of gives a summary of what I can do in a session, just 1 hour. I can get a lot done in an hour. I do a lot of inner child healing, and I can give you some examples of stuff that's happened with that. Sometimes mixed messages will come in from either relatives, ancestors, guides. You never know who's going to pop in. Sometimes friends. A lot of times they'll show me. I get clients sometimes where their children were reincarnated as either a parent or another loved one. I get that a lot. Just things like that, it's a mixed bag, or pretty much anything, any kind of healing messages. Mine's all about healing. It's all about healing, like at an internal level. And a lot of times people come to me for a medium read, and they end up healing their inner child. In the meantime, it's just like they are drawn to me for the mediumship part, but spirit knew they needed something else,
Have you got a success story that kind of stands out to you that you wouldn't mind talking about?
Yeah. And I have this story on my website. If you go to KeeleeRand.com, it's on my client case study. She came to me for a medium read first. And she wanted to hear from her father. They had a rough relationship toward the end of his death, and then, actually her entire life. And then he passed, and she had some anger toward him, and she had all these narcissistic relationships. And she actually came to me for a mix of hearing messages from her dad, and she didn't know why she kept finding these narcissistic relationships and abusive people. So we pulled out all these issues from her childhood. And it's funny because she thought that her relationship with her dad was so bad because he didn't give her a piece of property. She was so angry. She couldn't even get through the first session without crying. First or second session. The second session is where we made the breakthrough, and she's been awesome. She's a completely different person. She started growing her spiritual side because, like I said, it peels those layers away. So they realize they're in their awakening. It's kind of like it lifts a fog. I always reference Schlepp Rock from Flintstones, because he's the one that had that dark cloud over his head. It's like that, but then it's like you're chained to this cloud, but then it lifts. This fog just lifts from you once you do this inner child healing. It's so amazing. So it really stemmed down to, once we pulled it out of her subconscious, because that's what I'm able to do, is able to see certain events in life that it ties to. It tied back to her dad was an alcoholic. He was sobering up. So he was 2 weeks sober. He was, agitated, on edge, and she had gotten out of the bathtub at 10 years old and broke a glass thermometer, the mercury ones, and it shattered on the floor. Well, he came in and spanked her. He's on edge. And her whole life had been this, a bad relationship with her father and all these relationships with men. And a lot of it tied back to that one event that it just built on. So just some inner child issues like that, because if you think about it, as an adult, you think back and that poor girl, but it's not that big of a deal. But as that 10-year-old girl, it's a lot of shame and guilt, humiliation. So it just built on her life. Like,
it don't help with the way everything's programmed either. I mean, you know, it's like all the music, the TV shows, everything's programmed to harbor aggression. It seems like, you know, and people are on edge with all the news that's going on. Yeah, and like, look at the news. Like, don't watch that crap. Or Lord, no wonder people have heart attacks during the news. And you know, just things like that. So
everything's so negative.
Yeah,
you go to work, it's negative. Yeah, and he was a diesel mechanic, and she was wondering why she didn't get that property. And it was just because he didn't have the money to have, you know, an attorney draw up a will. And he passed, and his wife just moved on and took his stuff. And she didn't have it planned. And, you know, she didn't have a relationship with those kids, and they're adults now. So just, it turned out to be a lot of things that she saw on the outside, but it wasn't it. So that's the thing with inner child. I can go into that if you want, like, explain what it is and how it works.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want me to go ahead with that? Like, explain what?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. So your inner child is, so I've talked to people in sessions, once I pull out inner child issues that go back to an event that needs healing, when I pull that out of their subconscious, because that's what happens, it stays in your subconscious, and a lot of it people don't even remember, they don't know, but it's sitting there. Even if you don't remember it, you know, your subconscious brain is a computer. So every event in your life is held there, and you may not remember it. So she, like the one that I had, the drug problem, I brought some stuff out in her, and she was sobbing in front of me as a 4-year-old little girl, talking like a 4-year-old little girl. When I would say, "Are you okay?" she'd be like, "No," and crying like she sounded like a 4-year-old little girl. I said, "Do you want to talk more?" "I don't wanna." It was like that. It was
wow,
strange, but super cool, you know, just to see their psyche change. And once we lifted it, she came back to her adult self. So,
you know
like, it's like healing on a whole different level.
Have you ever done like personal sessions where you're with somebody? Is it almost like, for lack of a better word, like a hypnotist session or something, like hypnotizing someone?
No, I've never done one.
Okay.
Are you asking if I'm hypnotizing?
Huh?
No, it's like, so this is how this works. When you're a child and things happen to you, your mind builds these defense mechanisms to protect you automatically. Right. So it could be something when you're a kid, it seems like a big deal. I mean, spilling a glass of water and getting yelled at is a big deal when you're a kid, you know, and something that when you're an adult doesn't seem like a big deal. But at your mind at that time, it puts this little, you know, that's how people who are beat down and their parents like abuse them verbally have all this shame and guilt and don't see themselves for who they really are, because when they do that as a child, it builds a defense mechanism, which puts like an introject, which is like a character trait or a personality trait, I guess, puts it in your unconscious mind. So it puts this little introject in your unconscious mind, and it doesn't just go away. It stays there. It stays there and waits, and it festers. And, you know, it's like a little zap in your brain, and it causes all this toxicity in other ways in your life. Like, that's why kids who are beat down all the time, they go to jail, you know, and they live a life of crime. It's like they believe that stuff because those introjects, all those introjects are, and spirit is giving me crazy tingles. So I'm crowd surfing right now. So sorry if I'm babbling, but, so all these interjects are just like zap, zap, zap. And people, you don't feel it, you don't know it. And it's just causing all this toxicity. It changes your behaviors. It causes drug addictions, alcohol problems, relationship issues. It causes you to choose people who aren't good for you, or people who, you know, abuse you, because all those things are in the back of your mind. And you can go through, I can do in one session what 10 years of therapy can do, you know, just because this is healing at a different level. A therapist is going to listen to you talk. They're not going to go into your subconscious mind through spirit and pull stuff out. You know what I mean? It's just so different. But if you don't get that, you know, the encouragement, the nourishment, the compassion as a child from your parental unit, you don't get those fundamental building blocks. So as you grow up, you're this, you know, sick house that just has this weak foundation. There's no foundation there. So it just takes a little bit for you to sway, or, you know, to get knocked down. And there you are, alcohol, depression, anxiety, drugs, you know. So what I do is I essentially help you raise your inner child.
And it's amazing how things like that stick with us, you know, and like you said, it could be the simplest of things. It could be a spanking. I mean, you know, and especially, I mean, with the divorce rate nowadays, I mean, you know, and that's emotional trauma for, you know, if it happens at a young age or an old age for that matter. So, like I said, it's not like it's not like there's lack of triggers out there. That's for sure.
Yep. So what I do is teach people how to deal with those triggers. I teach them how to recognize them, how to break them apart, dissect them, and realize why they're bothering them and how to stop that trigger happening next time. Because once you're able to recognize it, it'll bother you. A perfect example of this is if you're in a relationship and you have abandonment or attachment issues from when you're a child. If your partner is, say, going out for the night or whatever, and, you know, they have the partner who's sitting at home, male or female, who's texting them all the time, where are you, where are you? That's not them being controlling. It is, in a way, but that's their inner child coming out. That's about abandonment and attachment issues. So when stuff like that happens, I always teach people to say, for example, I would be like, okay, well, write down what the trigger was, what triggered you. I always tell them to do this before they act on it. If I get them to a point where they can recognize it, and then before they act on it, do this little exercise. So you would write down what the trigger is on a piece of paper. And then underneath that, write down what you're feeling emotionally, what you're feeling physically. Because, you know, if you're feeling that tense feeling, your stomach hurts, your head hurts, you know, you feel anxiety in your chest. Tell me all the feelings that you feel. And then write down what you think should be happening right now that would make you feel better. And then leave it. Walk away from it. Go get a glass of water, go do something else, let your mind calm down, and come back and write down reality, you know, because by the time you get back kind of calm, and those are usually, that goes back to childhood. That's your inner child reaching out, you know. So once you calm down, that inner child comes out when you are in fight or flight. It comes out when you're feeling panicked, angry, scared, lonely, you know. It really, this inner child healing helps with PTSD. It's amazing.
Well,
so
I mean, you know, that's
once you
part
come
of
back
the
to it,
ego.
you realize what reality is.
Right. Like, yeah, that's part of our, like I was saying, the ego is what protects us, you know. So.
Yeah. Yeah, so I teach them like to have like surrogate parental units. Like there's 3 parts of self: a nurturing, a spiritual, and a protective part of self that I teach them to get comfortable with as like parental units. It's crazy, but it actually raises their inner child. Sorry, go ahead. I think I interrupted you.
Oh, no.
I get going on this stuff and I can go on for hours.
I was just curious. I mean, and you don't have to answer this if you don't want to, but has there ever been anybody that you just couldn't fix?
There have been people who were hard to fix that took longer, but never anyone that I didn't make a difference with. I've never had one session where someone didn't come out a different person.
Well, you know, I guess if you're going to do this,
or you mean like totally?
Well, I'm just saying like totally, you know, but I guess if you're going to, you know, take the time to work with somebody that you know, you're pretty much a believer and you're going to put your heart into it. Otherwise, I don't guess you'd spend the money. But I just wonder if some people can be resistant to it. You know, like I said, I guess if somebody's going to pay for a service, they
do become resistant a little bit. I think they get really gung-ho in the beginning in some of those programs. That's why I usually like sometimes I'll up my prices a little bit in sessions depending on what kind of healing I'm going to do, because someone will start off gung-ho and then they'll taper off. So that's why my 3-month program is it's an investment, you know. They have to invest in themselves. And if you invest money, you're going to do it. So I've had people where I've done lower prices and they were just kind of like blow it off, you know. By the time like it gets to halfway through, they don't want to do it because they want their inner child back, because the inner child's fun. The inner child's the one that lets them go out and do reckless behavior, you know.
Right.
I don't. I always tell them the good stuff. They want to go out and, I don't know, keep going with those habits, I guess. I try.
Yeah, I mean, that's the easy thing to do. That's the easy thing to do, at least.
It's hard to put in this work. It's a lot of work if you're not ready for it, you know. Right.
Well, we got a few minutes left. Why don't you give a plug for, like, you know, your website and things like that?
Okay, you can find me at KeeleeRayAnn.com, and there's a dash between Ray and Ann. I can put it in the comments after this. I'll put it in the comments of the video. I have the YouTube channel.
I've actually got it. I've got it. Sorry, I'm just going to say I've got it in the description.
Oh, cool, thanks. And then I have a Facebook business page, which I've kind of been steering away from Facebook a little bit. I want to go more to the YouTube platforms for my lives and stuff. But you can go to my website. My website has all this information about me and tells us about my programs and appointments and stuff. And I have a sale going on right now. I think I took for this, because these shows were going on, I think I took like $50 off. I can't remember, but for an hour. So those sessions, like, I can change your life in an hour.
Wow.
So if anyone needs it, let's do it.
Now, have you got anything uploaded on your YouTube channel yet?
I do. I have some
Any
like older
session-
videos that I've done.
Okay.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
So, I was just gonna say, if you haven't subscribed to her, subscribe to her. It's just like the name that's in the description, Keelee Ray Ann. Make sure you guys subscribe.
I have a lot of
channel.
stuff coming up. I'm gonna give a lot of tools, like that 3 parts of self. I'm gonna put that up there. I got some of my older stuff on there. It's kind of scary because once I start channeling, it starts going fast. My older videos, but I put my awakening story on there. There's some stuff on there that'll help people.
I'm telling you, I encourage you to do a live stream though, because that's really what starts bringing people in. People love to interact.
I'm thinking I'm going to start one next week. I need to get with you so you can show me the ropes. I need to figure out how to incorporate it with Zoom.
I'll help you any way I can. So, like I said, I'm gonna make her an intro, and she's gonna do a session on me. So I'll let y'all know how that goes. We'll have her back on, and she'll tell you what a man.
And then you can do like a video testimonial. Brian, you can do a video testimonial all by yourself.
Ooh, Lord. Now, if you want to ask me some questions, maybe, but I don't know about myself. Like I said, it'd be like,
you got this.
But, we'll talk about that. All right. Okay. So anyway, like I said, if y'all hadn't subscribed to her, make sure to go and subscribe to her. Keelee, thank you for coming on. I appreciate it. I hope you had a good time. And everybody out there, I love you. And remember, be the frequency you want to receive. Y'all have a blessed night, and I love you.